Welcome to Brave Healer Productions. It's time to experience what's possible. So, what if there's something you haven't learned yet that could change everything? Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions Publishing, where we are helping the world experience what's possible. And helping me with that mission today are some of the amazing authors of one of our newest books. This one is called Stories, Tools, and Community for Healing Curious Humans. And firstly, a huge shout out goes to our lead author, Natalie Peterson, for the massive and powerful mission she had to bring some of the most passionate and knowledgeable healers together to create this incredible community and this resource. Wait until you guys get your hands on this book. Seriously, Natalie, thank you. We would not be here without you. So, I have some pretty cool people in my Zoom room today. Lisa Boat is the founder of Liberated Menopause Consulting and Coaching, empowering workplaces and women to thrive through midlife transitions. Sharon Cassidy is here. She blends physical therapy, craniosacral work, breath, sound, and shamanic traditions to foster healing. She guides others in calming the nervous system and reconnecting with the body's wisdom. And Susan Schiller is here, retired after 35 years in accounting and project management. She now leads Earth Rainbow Bridge. Mesa carrier, musician, and healer. She shares meditation, yoga, breathwork, and sound practices. Susan, did I get that right? Mesa carrier? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, I was hoping I wasn't messing that up. We'll have to ask you about that a little bit later. Okay, gals, welcome. Lisa, you're actually going to start this party off today. Tell us a little bit of the why behind your chapter.
Yeah, hi, and thanks for gathering us here together today. So my chapter is 12 and it's called Unmuted. And the why of that chapter really is about reclaiming your voice in a way that is joyful and creative. When we think about the painful journeys that we have all been through and how to start reconnecting with ourselves and our deep, powerful voices, that in my case was very muted in a system that was really not interested in what I had to say or the vision that I had. It can feel daunting and overwhelming to think about how do I start to heal that? How do I get back into my body? How do I get back to my voice? And for me, I found the process of using music to do that to be a really joyful way of working through what was a really challenging shift and change in my life, because that is what I needed to reconnect to my voice. I needed to start to shake off all of the chains, the energetic metaphysical chains that I had felt around myself for a long time. And so revisiting music that connected me to times in my life where I felt like the most realized version of myself was a really fun, creative way of doing that. So that was the why for writing my chapter.
This healing can be fun, can't it? Right?
Yes, it
I know.
can.
I love making people aware that it's not all horrible and hard. And oh my gosh, the possibilities. Okay, I'm going to rewind to something you said that caught me, and that is you said I had to get back into my body. This is so important. Will you tell us a little bit about why you said that?
Yeah, absolutely. To survive in the environment that I was in, I couldn't be present in my body because I was abandoning myself constantly. Just to be able to walk through the front door of the school building I was going into every day. And so there was disassociation that happened because this body was too painful. Also, all the experiences that women generally have over a lifetime that make a body uncomfortable to be in. And when it came time for me to really start to reconnect, I realized just how out of my body I had been. Where I had one of the somatic therapists I worked with said, "Can you feel the bottom of your feet?" And I had to really sit for a minute and think, can I feel the bottom of my feet? And the answer was no. And it took a long time. So, working through the vibration of music to get you back into the body is really helpful.
Yes, I love this topic so much. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to start to hear all of these beautiful golden nuggets of awareness. I'm just kind of telling the listeners, stay open to what you're hearing and these little moments about, oh, can you feel your feet? That's a big one for some reason. Can you feel your feet? I don't know. I don't know if I can feel my feet, right? Lisa, thank you for saying yes to this project and for being here today to share with everybody. So, Sharon, I'm coming over to you next. Tell us a little bit of the why behind your chapter.
Well, it's so interesting. I love that Lisa was first because she introduced all the topics that I have been working with which is feeling safe in your body, feeling comfortable in your body, feeling your body. And that's really where I've been for a long time, and also using music and vibration to do that. But the very simple way of accessing ourselves, becoming comfortable within our own body, just sitting and breathing and humming, feeling vibration, actually feeling our bodies, because we stay so busy and so outwardly oriented, we forget ourselves. And we do that consciously or sometimes unconsciously, but we're not comfortable, especially being women. There's so much that we have to be aware of at all times to be safe in our environment, in the external environment, and in our internal environment. So, coming back to ourselves and finding a place of quiet and peace so that we can remember ourselves. And my chapter, I'm chapter 4, Vibrations of Calm. It's basically about being quiet and quieting our nervous system so that we can hear the messages our body is always giving us, and we can pay attention, and we can be in dialogue and in communication with ourselves, with our body. That's really what it's all about for me. That's where I am.
So, you mentioned humming, and I had a moment where I was just picturing myself doing that, and the feeling of that is so cool, you guys. So, like, it's like we can create a vibration that I always feel washed out from the inside out when I'm doing those types of things. Tell me a little more about that. Like, is that one of your favorite things? Why?
Yeah, sometimes even in the middle of the night, there's a cortisol. People have heard of cortisol, and that's what surges in our bodies when we are stressed or anxious or alarmed. And I have found that when I feel that, for whatever reason, I don't know why it pops up sometimes it's 3 in the morning, I will just start taking some conscious breaths and humming. And I hum right through it, and it calms me. And the thing I love is that if we're trying to communicate better with ourselves and with our bodies and live in our bodies comfortably, it doesn't take any special skill or tool, like an instrument or whatever, because we are the instrument. So just breathing and toning or humming. We're not singing. Well, we could be singing, but we don't have to be self-conscious. We just have to be with ourselves and just breathe and hum. And it's really amazing. It's been very healing for me. And I wanted to offer that.
Yes, love it. And I love giving people the idea of humming or toning, and Yeah, the pressure of like if it has to be singing can sometimes be too much for people, and they're like, nope, I'm not doing it.
Right.
But humming,
Yeah.
anyone can hum.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Lisa has something to say about the 3 a.m. wake up call of cortisol.
Right.
I sure do. That's a hormone cycle happening where
Yes.
cortisol hasn't been processed during the day. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of us waking up in between the 3 and 4 hour with can you imagine us all humming at the same time? I think that would be so cool.
It'd be great.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so Susan, let me move over to you now. Tell us a little bit of the why behind your chapter.
All right, my chapter is number 2, the awareness advantage, discover and heal past trauma. So I think it's a real art to come up with 3,000 words that can express a journey. And the journey is one of self-discovery. And one of the things I like about this book is how it's all intertwined amongst all of our chapters. Mine starts from childhood, and it's my self-discovery of what were the patterns, what were the hang-ups in my mind that I didn't even know about, and how was I able to uncover them. Many times when we first discover that we've been traumatized, which I didn't realize for 8 years, and then all of a sudden, oh no, what am I going to do now? We initially go for talk therapy, which can be very helpful because it gives you some recognition from somebody else that, yes, you've been through this and you need to work through the details. But what is not always evident initially is what gets stored in the body as you've lived through this experience. So part of what I wanted to bring out in my chapter is the awareness advantage, that you can find and unblock these pain patterns within your own body. And that actually adds to all the therapy and breath work and everything. It's an acknowledgement that, yes, I see you, young child. I see what you've been through, and I'm there with you. And the recognition that you get from realizing that also reduces the trauma because it's not such a big thing. It's like if you've ever gone back to your childhood home, that hill you used to go down that was so huge, you realize it's just was just a little hill. So when you can get to the bottom of these things, they actually dissipate, and you can open your body to new experiences. And that's what I want people to know after reading my chapter, that we can rewrite our history. We don't have to remain someone who was traumatized. We rewrite, we recast a story for ourselves.
Love the part of your title, the awareness advantage. There's a quote that I repeat, I don't know, multiple times a day: with awareness, you have a choice. And that's, I mean, that's a world changing, life changing statement right there. That's why I always talk about all your all's golden nuggets of awareness. You're really making me want to go look at that big hill in the back of my old childhood house, though, right now. Like, I bet you she's right. I bet you it was this tiny little hill, and we thought it was like this big monster of a thing. But I want to go back to it can be in the tissues. You know, when people have had decades of talk therapy and they're still doing it and something isn't right yet, this is the place, I think, that is the missing link, and it's back in the body. What do you want people to know about that?
What I want people to know is that it's a pattern that we are used to living in. It's an internal reaction. When somebody says something, there's like, oh, maybe I need to be a little guarded about that. And there's something that is a contraction inside your body when that happens. So it's a matter of noticing the mental patterns, which are then relaying into the physical body. And a lot of that happens through breath work, as we've said already, through breath work, through music, through allowing the spaces in your body to open and expand. And you have to allow your mind to open and expand to allow your body to do the same. So it's really an acceptance that I don't have to be this story anymore. I don't have to follow these same patterns anymore. I can be different, and allowing that to occur. And I've noticed personally that, I've had periods where I get a contraction and I know this is something I need to release. It's not a medical issue, it's another thing to release. So just relaxing into that and know that we're all together in humanity working through these issues. And you've got support. This great
Yes.
book and a lot of good authors here.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so I have this huge thanks to all three of you, and as I am gifting or giving that gratitude to you guys, I want to give everyone like a little sneak peek of this cover here. This gorgeous, gorgeous cover of our book. But you all took up the challenge of putting your vulnerable story in here, first of all. So thank you for that. But in the second part of these chapters are your master teachings. I mean, you all have been around a minute doing this for a minute, right? You've dedicated your lives to these teachings, and you are giving the reader practical experiences with your master tools. And I thank you for doing that so brilliantly, because you all share every day with your clients, but it's quite another thing to get it in black and white in the book in a way that a reader can have that experience with it. So readers, you are in for a huge treat with this book. Any one of these chapters could be a life changer. Sharon, when it comes to healing, how did curiosity help you on the journey? Tell us a little bit about the curiosity connection here.
Well, I felt like I needed to move more, and I got involved with yoga, and that took me into a lot of breath work. And I was just really curious about how breath work was changing how I felt, but also my perspective, how I saw the world, how I interacted with people and with issues that came up, and how I could use breath work to shift my perspective or my experience in a particular situation that might normally be very stressful for me. So it's been a long and beautiful journey into understanding and experiencing breath and sound. And what I love is that you can just make a start. You don't have to be engaged in a class or any kind of training. You can just make a start and explore for yourself, breathing and making sounds and see how it feels. And it's been really transformative for me. I have progressed into more um, skilled breathwork practices with various teachers, and that's been profound. But I love that you can just make a start with who you are in this moment, with what you have to work with.
That's one of the best things about breath work for sure. Okay, Susan, in terms of curiosity, how do you think of this in terms of, like, I think it's a superpower of awareness, this
I
curious
agree.
thing. Yeah, what do you want to
I
say?
agree. So all the years that I was working through my issues, I would go to the library when we used to be dependent on books. I go to the library in the self-help section. I'd be curious, who's got something to say that can help me? And invariably, I would find a book I would pull it out, just the words I needed to hear. So curiosity allows one to be open to new ideas. And that really is transformative in and of itself. And it speaks to our own individual guide that we have inside ourselves. Even if we don't know it, there's an aspect of curiosity that is guidance. It's opening.
Yes, part of the superpowers of it for sure. I'm like sitting here going, yes, yes, I love listening to all of you talk about these topics. Lisa, maybe it's hard to go last on this one, but I know you want to add something about curiosity. What's it meant for you?
Yeah, it's a great question. And curiosity played a huge role in developing the tool that I had. And that was, I was in this place of deep numbness where I really could not feel anything. And so I thought, well, how do I start to melt this ice? How do I get back to a place where I feel things again? And it was almost getting to the point where I was like, I don't even remember what it feels like to feel. And so I sat with myself and just thought, well, when do you remember feeling something? And a memory would pop up, and with that memory would be a soundtrack. There was a song that was attached to that memory. And I thought, well, that's curious. Why is that happening? And so I started doing a little bit of research and came across some information that music is the only thing that activates all five of our senses at the same time. And that made so much sense to me, right? In this world where we are taught to do everything in the brain, we really sort of let go of the importance of senses and what happens when we actually let our senses feel and see and smell and touch and taste. And so as I started sitting with that idea, songs would come up, and with the song would be the season that song was playing a big role in my life and what the air felt like and what was the smell that was around me at the time, what the sun felt like on my skin. And in that process, through going back and coming in through that sensory way, I was able to start to feel again. And so curiosity wove its way all the way through all of those things where I didn't really know. And like Sharon said, with breathwork, it's something you can just start with, and it's something tangible, right? You can start by playing a song and seeing what happens. And it's a place that you can just start from.
Yes. I didn't realize that about songs or music in terms of the five senses. It makes sense though, and in its tie to memory. You're making me curious now. It's interesting on this topic of curiosity. I remember a conversation I had with a friend about when bad stuff happens. And so my curious nature was to always react with, that's interesting. And so that would be my response to anything that was like taking me down. Like, that's interesting. If I can just be curious first, it's going to save me. Y'all are making me think of that. Okay, I have this one last question for all of you, and it really has to do with your chapter and your topics, which are wonderfully weaving and overlapping today with the three of you, which I love how the universe puts you all together for these interviews. Susan, what's the most important thing you want to leave people with in terms of past trauma?
I want to leave people with the understanding that they don't need to be defined by what happened in the past. We can actually rewrite our history. So instead of being somebody whose father did something bad, we can be somebody whose father taught them beautiful music. And we can focus on what is that which we want to bring into our life. If we're only focusing on bad, it's going to be a bad life. So we can make that choice. And it's not about denial, it's about full acceptance. It's about, I chose this life. What am I here to bring? What am I here to relieve from my ancestral group? And what can I do to bring peace and nurturing energy and love to all those around? And that's what I want to bring to everyone, that you can achieve this, you can do it. And there's many of us here that can support you. And it's a wonderful life.
Beautiful. Those are some powerful questions to ask yourself. You guys have to rewind to the questions she was asking just before that, or asking you to ask. I love that. Okay, Lisa, the most important thing you want to leave us with in terms of reclaiming our voice.
Yeah, the most important thing I want to leave people with is that it doesn't have to be a slog of grief and anxiety and pain. It's not that we deny those emotions. They're all important, but sometimes that is the wall or the block for people when they're thinking about doing healing. It's like, I don't want to relive all of that pain again. And healing can come from a place of deep joy, and that we can start there, and that it can be fun, circling back to what I said at the beginning, fun and creative. And from that place of joy and creativity, we can have a new perspective or a different perspective on the grief and the pain that we experienced, and integrate that all in together. So don't let the anxiety of what you might feel stop you when you can really come at it from a place of joy and what will come next.
100% yes to that. It's an energy shift, and there's so many ways to shift energy. And you're reminding me of one quick thing I want to repeat. You said it, but I'm going to say it in this way. When we talk about healing, we want to feel everything, and we don't want to skip over the intense, hard stuff. We want to give ourselves permission to feel everything, but that also includes the ecstasy. And so I think people live their lives somewhere in the middle, afraid to go to the ends because they're just afraid. It's intense. It's all the things, right? So I love what Lisa's saying about this topic. And there's lots of ways to do this. Okay, Sharon, what's the most important thing you want to leave us with in terms of using breath and sound to reset our nervous system?
Well, I think the most important thing is to realize that it's such a gift to have a body, and our body is what we have to fully experience this world, this life. And as you were just saying, it comes with everything. It comes with the heavies, it comes with the lights. And we have such wisdom in our bodies. And it's so rich to have an intimate relationship with yourself and to realize that you are your soulmate and to really explore that. And to do that, we need to be able to release the constant jangling of our nerves that is our regular everyday life and be able to experience and allow that calm, quiet place so that our nervous system is open and expanded and receives the information that is who we are and it is in our body. And breath and sound can take you there.
Ladies, you are all so phenomenal. Thank you so much, Susan, Sharon, Lisa, for what you do in the world and for being here today to share it with everyone. You guys, this is way more than a book. This is a generous community waiting for you to reach out. Drop down into the show notes. I have all of our authors there. You're going to find ways to connect. and ask your questions and get the support that you want. Carry on the important conversations we started today. So please go explore all that they're up to. We also hope that you hop over to Amazon and grab your copy of this beautiful book today. The link is below. Lastly, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.
Thank you, Laura.